It is a site of immense significance of Jewish people who come from around the world to pray and leave written prayers in the cracks of the ancient stones. The Western Wall Plaza is divided into separate sections of men and women, with designated areas for prayer and reflection. The wall is particularly crowded during Jewish festivals and holidays, such as Yom Kippur and Passover, when thousands gather to participate in special prayers and ceremonies.
Becoming prayerful means, in India we call this upasana. That is, in your life, you don't occupy the main seat, you occupy the side seat. Because in the Brahmin culture, pranayama means just nadi shuddhi. Yes, if you're just calling nadi shuddhi as pranayama, maybe that much impact may happen because of mantra, chanting or doing this parayana. But if you're thinking that this is a prayer which is going to reach God and things are going to happen to you, it's a wrong understanding. So touching that dimension which is beyond the physical means you want to touch that dimension which is the basis of the physical. When you say that which is the basis of the physical, what you're talking is that you're not interested in creation, but you're interested in the source of creation. There, if you go and stand in front of the Creator, at least there you must keep your ideas down, isn't it? Your ideas must be kept down for some time when the Creator is here, isn't it so? Isn't he the biggest idea? It's like, there was a man in Pennsylvania, where are you from? Ah. It rains, it doesn't flood there. That's why we put Seattle on the coast. Otherwise, it would flood, that place. So Pennsylvania, there was a man in Pennsylvania. Once there was a big flood and… Are you okay if there's a joke inside a joke? All right. The flood was beginning to happen, the water was filling up, and there was a very enthusiastic young journalist who was reporting stage by stage, hour by hour as to how the flood is progressing, Because that is journalism. Somebody is drowning, report to the world, this man is drowning, look at him drowning, take it on the video and show it to everybody how a man drowns. You don't throw the goddamn camera and get the man, no. You show the whole world how a man can drown in a flood. So, these are not the days of video cameras, only, Morse code is how the report is being filed. So he filed a report very eloquently, he said, as God sits and watches, the water is filling up in this part of Pennsylvania and houses are going down and this and that, and described it in very eloquent terms. Then he immediately got a response from his editor, leave the flood, interview God. God is sitting and watching, he thought he's somewhere here and forget about the flood, interview God. They didn't get to interview him, it continued. Many homes drowned, many people died, but one man survived. This man who survived went to New York City and shared among people how he survived a Pennsylvania flood where so many people died. People gathered. Then he went to Boston and talked about how he survived a Pennsylvania flood, and more people gathered. Then he came to Seattle and he shared, more people gathered. Then he started his roadshow, city to city, talking and talking about how he survived a Pennsylvania flood. He became a famous speaker in America. And then naturally, you know, every American has to write a book within their lifespan. So he wrote a book, how he survived a Pennsylvania flood. It became famous, he spoke everywhere, and his engagements became international. He became a millionaire, sold millions of books. All his life, he only spoke about how he survived the Pennsylvania flood. And one day he died, not in a flood, he died. And they had an assembly. He went through the pearly gates, and there was an assembly of people, and there was an opportunity to speak. A few people could speak. So he told his neighbors, I will share my experience about how I survived Pennsylvania flood. Somebody nudged him and said, there is no one in the audience. Okay? So, now you don't go stand in front of that which is the basis of creation and throw your ideas at him. You are his idea. Yes? You are just a figment of his idea. If he withdraws his idea, you're gone. So you don't put your ideas. So this is the essence of meditativeness. Prayer means you're telling God what to do. You think you're God's consultant. Meditation means you've understood your limitations, now you just shut up. If you just shut up on all levels, everything that needs to happen to you will happen to you. All the training is just to help them to shut up. That you don't throw your silly ideas at the Creator, you just shut up.
See, probably in this part of the world, if I utter the word prayer, immediately people will think sitting down and saying something to somebody up there. Some of you may know simple English prayers, some of you may know complicated Latin, Arabic, Sanskrit, whatever kind of prayers. But essentially, prayer unfortunately has been understood as a way, like it's some kind of a long-distance call. Prayer is not an act, it's a certain quality that you bring into your life. Somewhere in 1860s, certain missionaries came to central part of India, which is now called as Madhya Pradesh. And they were scouting the tribal districts because that is where the potential conversions are there. Then they heard there is a particular yogi around whom thousands of people are gathering. So they thought he's built some kind of a church and people are gathering, let's go and see. Competition, So they went there. When they went there, they couldn't believe this. There was no church, there was not even a home. The yogi was just sitting under a tree. All he had was a loincloth, bare-bodied. He was just sitting there. Somebody who looks like he's not worth anything. Then they got a little encouraged. Okay, this is not much of a competition. But then they found hundreds and thousands of people gathering around him. Then they were amazed, oh, what's happening here? He must be having some kind of power. So when they got an appointment with him, they asked, what kind of prayers do you teach? Then he looked at them and laughed, said, oh, you are men of cloth, you are men of prayer, aren't you? You have done much prayer obviously in your life. Today, you just see some prayer, Don't do it, just see it. I said, how can we see prayer? He said, just watch me now. And he took some vegetables and started cutting. He said, this is my prayer, just watch it, quite carefully watch it. This is the prayer. So prayer is not just vocal. Prayer is a way of involving your whole body and getting it into a certain attitude of receptivity, of seeing. Prayer is essentially seeing that your presence here is so minuscule actually. You are just a speck of dust in this existence. Tomorrow morning, woof, if you disappear, nobody is going to miss you. A few people around you will cry for 3 days and then they'll forget about you. Rest of the existence will just go on fine without you, isn't it? All of us disappear. Still this world will go on wonderfully well, maybe better. Yes or no? This self-assumed importance that man has created within himself, when you keep it aside, you are in prayer. If you manage to keep aside the assumed importance that you have for yourself, then you are in prayer, you don't have to say anything.
Most of us do daily parayanam in our daily lives in praise of Lord, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Rudram Chamakam and all this. It is said that if recited in a proper swara and intonation, it amounts to pranayam.
See, as I already said, the Sanskrit language, the mantras have certain impact upon you. If it is done with absolute integrity and understanding, yes, it creates a certain amount of space, a certain amount of energy in you. It would be improper to call it pranayam, because pranayam as a process goes much deeper than chanting of the mantras. Mantras have very beneficial impact upon you, no doubt about that. When they say pranayam, they may be saying, because in the Brahmin culture, pranayam means just nadi shuddhi. Yes, if you're just calling nadi shuddhi as pranayam, maybe that much impact may happen because of mantra chanting or doing this parayanam. But if you're thinking that this is a prayer which is going to reach God and things are going to happen to you, it's a wrong understanding. Prayer is not something that you do, it is something that you become. Prayer is a quality, prayer is not an act that you do. There's a wonderful story. Once, one of the Baptist missionaries from United States went to a certain remote part of Siberia. There, when he went to the town, because he wants to convert people into his great religion, everybody else is a pagan in his understanding. There he found the people were all talking about 3 saints who were living on a little island in a huge lake in Siberia. So, he wanted to see who the saints are, took a boat and a boatman and went there across the lake, reached there. Then he found these people were utterly uneducated, illiterate shepherds. He went and saw these people, they looked filthy, and somehow these 3 guys just living on an island, they look wild men. Then he asked them, okay, what is this and what is the prayer that you do? So first one said, every day I pray that all the sheep, they must all be well and they must come back home. None of the sheep should be lost in the cold. This is the prayer I do. This ignorant fool, he thinks it's prayer. Then he asked the second man, he said about the sheep's health and this and that. The third man said about the lice in his hair and the sheep's hair, how he doesn't want the sheep not to suffer with the lice. So he wants all the lice to come out, but he doesn't want the lice to die, so he wants the lice to go somewhere else and live well, something his prayer like this, in local languages. So the Baptist thought, this is stupid, these people are being considered as saints. I will do one thing, right now I will baptize you and convert you into baptism, and you learn this prayer. And he taught them one elaborate prayer. These are very literate people, it took 3-4 days to teach them this prayer. After that, very satisfied with the conversion, the Baptist priest was sailing back. Then the three men came running across the water halfway down the way. And they said, "What was the fourth line? We don't remember." He saw these people running on water and coming. Then he said, "No, I can't teach you any prayer, you go back. You do your own prayer, it seems to be working better than mine." So, it is not the Sanskrit language, it's not the Latin or Greek. It's just that you become prayerful. To become prayerful means you should not be big. Becoming prayerful means, in India we call this upasana. Upasana means, the word is very beautiful. Upa means sub, asana means seat. That is, in your life, you don't occupy the main seat, you occupy the side seat. You have occupied a minor seat in your own life. Somebody else, something else has occupied the main seat in your life. Then you are in upasana. It is not the question of Greek, Latin or Sanskrit. It is just that you have made yourself very small. Something else has become big. Whether this something else is God or Guru or husband or wife or child or something, it doesn't matter. You can become prayerful. So prayer is a quality. So what you're talking about mantra is a science. Science must be handled as science, properly, must be used that way. There are certain mantras which need your emotion. There are certain mantras with emotion it'll mess up. You have to do it like science, properly. It is like chemistry. You got to do it properly like that, only then it works. But these days, most people don't have such understanding and they're mixing up everything, and you don't find any significant difference in the people who are doing it simply because they don't have the necessary vibrance in them, they don't have the necessary understanding and awareness in them. Any repetition, as I already said, without the necessary awareness will bring only dullness. So you will find, unfortunately, this cannot be generalized again, unfortunately with lots of people who believe they are doing prayers, they have become dull, please see this, because of repetition. Repeating without the necessary awareness dulls the mind. You will see, there are all kinds of idiots in the world, but the religious idiots take the cake simply because somehow you become very stupid in the process of becoming religious. Religion means it's the highest intelligence. Religion means it's the intelligence of… you have the intelligence to go beyond all limitations. That's what it means. But today you will find most of the people who call themselves religious are the most stupid people. They do the most idiotic things in the world. This has happened simply because of repetition. Prayer has become a repetition. Prayer has not become a quality.
Here are 5 famous places of worship from various religions and parts of the world. The Vatican City and St. Peter's Basilica. Vatican City, Rome, Italy. St. Peter's Basilica stands as a symbol of Catholicism's grandeur and spiritual significance. Its construction began in 1506 under the direction of Pope Julius II and was completed in 1626. The basilica is renowned for its Renaissance architecture with notable features such as Michelangelo's dome, Bernini's baldachin, and numerous works of art by famous artists. Millions of pilgrims and tourists visit St. Peter's Basilica each year to marvel at its beauty, attend Mass, explore its chapels and crypts, and ascend to the top of the dome of panoramic views of Vatican City and Rome. Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Mecca holds immense religious significance in Islam as the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad and the site of Kaaba, the holiest shrine in Islam. The annual Hajj pilgrimage is a central pillar of Islam and it draws millions of Muslims from around the world to Mecca. Pilgrims perform rituals such as tawaf, circumambulation of the Kaaba, and spending a day of devotion at Mount Arafat. The spiritual experience of the Hajj, combined with the opportunity to pray at the Kaaba and visit other holy sites in Mecca, makes it a deeply transformative journey for Muslims. The Western Wall, Wailing Wall, Jerusalem, Israel. The Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall, is the last remnant of the Second Temple complex in Jerusalem. It is a site of immense significance of Jewish people who come from around the world to pray and leave written prayers in the cracks of the ancient stones. The Western Wall Plaza is divided into separate sections of men and women, with designated areas for prayer and reflection. The wall is particularly crowded during Jewish festivals and holidays, such as Yom Kippur and Passover, when thousands gather to participate in special prayers and ceremonies. Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, Mexico City. The Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe is a major pilgrimage site for Catholics and one of the most visited religious sites in the world. The Basilica complex consists of the old basilica, built in the 16th century, and the new basilica, constructed in the 20th century to accommodate the growing number of pilgrims. The centerpiece of the complex is the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is enshrined in the new basilica and is believed to have miraculous properties. Pilgrims come to venerate the image, seek healing, and express their devotion to the Virgin Mary. The Blue Mosque, Sultan Ahmed Mosque, Istanbul, Turkey. The Blue Mosque is an architectural masterpiece and a symbol of Istanbul's rich cultural heritage. Commissioned by Sultan Ahmed I in the 17th century, it features striking blue tiles that adorn its interior walls, giving it its name. The mosque's design incorporates elements of both Ottoman and Byzantine architecture. With a central dome, minarets, visitors to the Blue Mosque can explore its expansive courtyard, marvel at its intricate tile work and calligraphy, and experience the tranquility of its prayer hall. The mosque is an active place of worship, and visitors are welcome to observe prayer sessions and learn about Islamic tradition and customs. The Tirumala Venkateshwara Temple. This temple in Tirupati is estimated to attract around 20 to 30 million visitors annually, making it one of the most visited religious sites globally. This immense number of visitors underscores the temple's significance as a revered pilgrimage destination in India. Tirupati, located in the southeastern state of Andhra Pradesh, is home to the renowned Tirumala Venkateshwara Temple, commonly known as the Tirupati Temple. It's dedicated to Lord Venkateshwara, an incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. The temple is famous for its opulent architecture, spiritual significance, and massive crowds of pilgrims. The temple is known for its Laddu Prasadam, a sweet offering which is distributed to devotees. Additionally, the temple complex includes various other shrines, halls, and accommodation facilities for pilgrims. The management of the temple is meticulously organized, ensuring smooth operations despite the large influx of visitors.